Simbanello! You're a good one for finding the right hive. We shall have honey at least until the new moon.
It was easy, Gogo. I just followed the Honeyguide.
I hope you remember to leave the little bird his portion.
Oh yes, Gogo. I would never think of cheating Nagita his share.
I remember what happened to Gingly, the greedy one, when he took all the honey for himself.
Tell us what happened, Gogo.
All right, my children. I think the story for little Nagita is appropriate after feasting upon the honey he helped bring to our table. There once was a greedy young man named Gingly. He rarely shared with anyone, preferring to keep the meat from any of his kills to himself, hoarding every mealy pip grew in a small garden. One day when Gingly was out hunting, he heard the honey call of Nagita. Gingly's mouth began to water at the thought of the sweet treat. He stopped and listened carefully, searching until he found the little fellow among the branches above his head. Chitik, 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 the little bird rattled, the sound of the matchbox shaking lengthwise. When Nagita saw that he had an interested partner, he quickly began moving through the branches toward the nest. Chitik, 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 he continued, stopping several times to be sure Gingly followed. After 30 minutes or so, they reached a huge wild fig tree. Nagita hopped up about madly among the branches. He then settled on one branch and cocked his head, looking at Gingly as if to say, "Here it is, come now! What is taking you so long?" Gingly couldn't see anything from his place on the fourth floor, but he knew Honeyguide's reputation for finding big, ripe nests following sweet honey. Gingly deposited his honey hunting tools at the foot of the tree. He then gathered some dry twigs and made a small fire. As soon as the flames were established, Gingly put a long dry stick into the heart of the fire. This was especially known to make lots of smoke while it burned. As soon as he was sure it was properly burning, he began climbing. The cooling of the branch clamped in his mouth. Soon he could hear the loud buzzing of the busy bees. Ah, he thought to himself, I can almost smell the sweetness in the air. How I love the taste of honey. When he reached the place of the hive, he quickly thrust the burning, smoking end of the branch into the hollow. The bees began rushing out, angry and mean. When most of them were out, Gingly pushed his hands into the nest. He took out handfuls of honeycombs, dripping with rich honey and full of fat white grubs. He continued the few strings he received, placing the comb carefully in the pouch he wore around his neck and chest. When the nest was empty, Gingly slowly made his way back down the tree. Nagita watched all of this activity with a great deal of anticipation. He fidgeted nervously, waiting for the moment when Gingly would walk once again on the fourth floor and leave, as was the custom, a fat piece of honeycomb as a thank offering to the Honeyguide. Nagita loved the juicy larval leaves and the waxy comb. He flitted from branch to branch, closer and closer to the ground. Finally Gingly reached the fourth floor. Nagita flew to the rocky perch near them and patiently waited for his share. But Gingly put out the fire, picked up his tools, and started walking home, obviously ignoring the little bird. The key chirped indifferently. He flew before Gingly and landed on a rock in front of the hunter. There he faced the man and constantly called in a high-pitched voice, "Victor! Victor!" Gingly stopped, stared at the little bird, and laughed out.
You want some spoils, do you, my friend? Ha! Who did all the work? Received all the stings. Why should I share any of this lovely honey with you? You little nothing. Be off with you, man.
And with a wave of his arm in dismissal, Gingly set off for his home. Nagita was furious. How dare the man break the long-time custom and refuse to share his gratitude? But little Nagita was not powerless. He could get his satisfaction. Nagita waited and watched the man for several moons before he saw his revenge. One day, several weeks later, Gingly again heard the call of Nagita. Remembering how sweet and wonderful the last harvest had been, Gingly eagerly followed the little bird once again. After making his way through the edge of the forest, Nagita suddenly stopped his characteristic chitik, 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 and came to the rest in a great umbrella form. Ah, thought Gingly, the hive must be in this tree. He quickly made his fire and began his ascent, the smoldering branch in his teeth. Nagita sat and watched. Gingly climbed, wondering why he didn't hear the usual buzzing. Perhaps the nest is deep in the tree, he thought to himself. He was concentrating so much on his climbing and was daydreaming about the sweet taste of honey. When he found himself face to face with a leopard, poor leopard was taking her midday nap in her favorite tree, exhausted after a long night of hunting, when she was suddenly awakened by a scream.
Ah!
Leopard was first startled and then angry at having her sleep so rudely interrupted. She narrowed her eyes, opened her mouth to reveal her very large and very sharp teeth, and took a quick swipe at the man, raking his claws across his forehead. Gingly rushed down the tree, half falling. He landed on a heavy thud on the ground, breaking several bones. Luckily for him, the leopard was still so tired, or she might have decided to swim away the man. Nevertheless, Gingly departed as fast as his leaving was going to go out, and he wore scars of leopard on his forehead for the rest of his life. Nagid had his revenge, and Gingly had never followed the Honeyguide again. But the children of Gingly and the children of Gingly heard the story of Nagid and respect for the little bird. Whenever they harvest honey, they are always sure to leave the biggest part of the honeycomb with the juiciest grubs for Nagid.